Imagine walking into that interview with the perfect resume, the perfect skills, and the right level of technical specifications, but still you walk out of that interview without the job. Do you want to tell us why that can happen?
Can happen because when you focus only on your technical skills, which a lot of people in our experience focus on,
Yeah,
and forget that actually what gets you the job is the soft skills, then you can get into that loop.
absolutely. Absolutely. And it's just like we say, you will never get that job if you don't understand the power of soft skills. So, in this session, we're going to be really unpacking the importance of soft skills. Actually, what skills, what it does mean generally, the types of soft skills that we have,
Yeah.
some of the soft skills that you would have to exhibit to get you that job. And it would also give them a bonus point, which is what, Noah, you want to tell us?
Yeah. The bonus point is how to actually develop your soft skills,
Absolutely.
which is a game changer, especially if you're an immigrant and you've been struggling to get a job. Maybe you've been ghosted
Yeah.
and you're wondering, am I good enough? What is
Yeah.
happening?
Yeah.
We find out that sometimes it's because you've not really shown your soft skills enough.
And I'd even like to add, no, like we're Africans, and if
Yeah.
we're being completely honest, some of us present as very confronting
Oh
in
my
an
God.
interview or even on the job, and it's not like we intend to come off as very strong.
Yeah.
But a couple of us lack emotional intelligence, will lack the ability to actually show passion, even though we're like super skilled and we know what we need to say, but we
Yeah.
cannot express that. And if you cannot express that during an interview, that automatically decreases your chance of getting the job. And from experience, speaking to HR, talent and acquisition team, and also us as well,
Our experience.
in our experience as well, recruiting people, we've come to an understanding that we would hire someone with stronger soft skills,
Yeah.
right, than someone who has got strong technical skills, then they've got low soft skills.
Very important, because just to put things in perspective, technical skills are things that you can learn,
Yeah.
right? There are courses, there are trainings,
Correct.
there's job shadowing,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that can help you build your technical skills.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So that is teachable.
They are teachable.
Soft skills is a bit tricky.
It is.
It is something that you develop, right?
It's inherent. Like it's almost like custom, like inbuilt. It's inside of you, your interpersonal skills. So organizations and even we know that it's hard to teach soft skills.
It is, because it is how you make people feel.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, there's so much interaction, communication, engagement,
Yeah.
Going on in the workspace.
Absolutely.
You spend a lot of time at work, and the people you work with, are you going to give them a hard time? Are you going to be seen as very difficult? People
Yes.
don't like to work with difficult people.
No.
And that is why when they are looking to recruit somebody, they want to look at, hey, is this person teachable? Is this person warm? It's not really about your technical skills
Nah.
alone, because if you have that can-do attitude, you're teachable, you're open-minded,
Yeah.
you communicate well.
Yeah.
All of those things cumulate to give you credit in the bank.
Absolutely.
I can make the difference between if candidate A will get a job
over the other one.
But culturally, there's not a lot of emphasis on soft skills, specifically in Nigeria, right?
Correct.
I'm not speaking for the whole of Nigeria,
But
but
from our
in that
experience, yeah.
as well, like even I'm definitely working on that.
Yeah.
Because a bit of a culture shock for me, when I moved abroad, I'm like, okay, sometimes I may come off confrontational,
Too strong,
and
yeah.
I'm not like genuinely trying to be rude or anything, but I'm like, it's just my tone, it's just, the stress in my words,
And
the
the
language, like, yeah. So it's like, oh, so a white person might find it like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So yeah, and these are the things that you pick up over time based on the reaction you get.
Yeah.
But at the interview stage, it is unforgiving, it's tough.
That's tough.
Once they spot that, they're like,
Not really. Because the truth is, an interviewer looks at you and they look at like three things.
Yeah.
Can I work with this person? Do you understand? Like, if I were to be in the same room, say
Yeah.
we're in the coffee room in
Yeah.
the workplace, is this the type of person that I would want to interact with?
That's the
And
main
more importantly, can they take feedback? Because if they can't sense those things in your interview, then that's tough for them to make a decision. But let's bring this back home to you and really nail down, what do we mean when we say skills? And what do we mean specifically when we say soft and hard skills? So skills are things that you use to execute your job successfully.
Yep.
Right? They help you to reach efficiency, they help you to enable a change.
Yep.
So those are the skills. And they're cut into two different parts, which is your technical skills, which can also be called your art skills, as well as your soft skills, which can also be called your people skills. And there's a reason why they call them, people skills. In simple terms, soft skills allows you to communicate effectively with people.
Yeah.
I love the word that says harmoniously. So there's harmony. Even in disputes, there's harmony there. Even when you don't agree with people, you still understand that I still need to show respect to them.
Yeah.
And to Noah's point earlier in relation to art skills, these are things that you pick up during the formal training, during an education. They are teachable skills, and they are measurable as well. You can measure the outcome of those skills. Research has shown that recruiters will look out for a candidate with stronger soft skills over a candidate with strong professional experience or technical skills.
Yeah.
Why do you think that's like that, Noah? What is from your experience? Why do you think they look out for that?
A couple of things really. Because you're going back to listing some of these soft skills is in your communication,
Yes.
interpersonal skills,
Yeah.
your mindset,
Yeah.
your ability to take initiative, your ability to communicate your ideas in a to show
Correct
empathy,
manner. Yeah.
like, that coherence, empathy, a lot of things there, right? So those things are important for your day-to-day engagement with people, and that's why they call it people skills.
That's right.
Now, if you only focus on the technical skills, which is now I can do programming,
And do
I
analysis.
can do analysis,
Yeah.
you need people to be able to know what to build. You need people to be able to get the data to analyze.
Yeah.
Like more than 60% of the work, 70% of work is really engagement,
Interaction.
collaboration,
Yeah.
interaction
Yeah.
in any field, right?
Yeah.
So if that is the case, why would so much emphasis be on your technical skills
Absolutely.
if your soft skills,
Missing or lacking?
you won't go into a company and just bury yourself in the loop of
No.
I'm just want to write code.
Yeah, I agree.
You need to engage with team members.
Yeah.
So those are some of the reasons why. And of course, they want to check, can I work with this person? You mentioned, like, is this person agreeable?
Yeah.
Does this person have the right mindset to learn, take initiative, help us out? Even in our next experience,
Correct.
we interview people who you say, tell us about yourself. I'm like, oh, my name is John, this and that. I'm a content writer and I've been doing that for 5 years. I would just like to stop here so that you can ask me that question.
And you're just
Like, if you do that here, you're not going to get that
nah,
opportunity.
you won't. And I agree with that. But on the layer of that, let's sort of like tell people the different soft skills that, because there's a lot of them,
Yeah.
right? And we're going to list a couple of soft skills that we think are very critical, especially in the context of going for a job interview and even, when you start to work on the job.
Yeah.
I guess the first one, which is probably the most obvious one, is your effective communication skills or your strong communication skills, be it verbal, be it written. Now, this is extremely important because when you're interacting with people, look, communication is not just divulging the information out.
Yeah.
Communication is speaking and ensuring that people can gain a full appreciation of what you're saying. When they gain full appreciation, they can comprehend what you said.
Yep.
So it's not enough to communicate. A recruiter is looking for that. When you're communicating, are you using the right language?
Absolutely.
Are you reading the room? If in that interview room, you've got non-technical teams and they're asking you questions and you're leveraging like a lot of technical jargon, instantly they're judging you because they think you don't have the ability to assess the room.
Yeah. On the layer of that, some people go for interviews, right? And they say, "Oh yeah, I've got like excellent communication skills, interpersonal skills."
Yeah.
And really, in the way they respond to questions,
doesn't look like it.
Is like stark opposite.
Hmm.
Like you're like, where is the communication skill?
Yeah.
Because it's such a cliche word now.
Everybody
says, yeah. I've got great communication. It almost feels like you need to add it to your
just need to say it.
response, but you
Yeah.
need to demonstrate that more importantly.
Mm.
And if you're saying that, making that claim, you better be right, because it is obvious if you've got great communication skills, right?
You don't even need to say it. They can see
They
like
can
they can
see, like
feel
they
it.
can see, and that's
Yeah.
what we tell our students, like,
Yeah.
hey, when you say this, give data, right? Say, hey, in my engagement with XYZ stakeholders,
Correct.
I'm able to leverage my communication skills
Yeah.
but you must also demonstrate in that
That
interview
session.
by, you're not giving one word answer, you're not allowing them prompt you, then tell us a bit more about that. Oh, are you done? Or some people just finish their statement awkwardly and just stop. Like, yeah.
Abruptly.
Sometimes nerves play a part in that, but more broadly, it's very important that you build, and nobody's perfect,
Yeah.
but we will talk about how you can build some of these skills.
Absolutely. So we just spoke about communication skills. Another very important soft skills is active listening. That's
Yeah.
extremely key. It just shows that you're not just listening to scout for answers. You're actually listening, comprehending what you're saying, and looking at both sides, right?
Yeah.
Negotiation is also another very important one.
Yeah.
Ability to try and like reach consensus even in difficult situations.
Yeah.
And I think that another one that people don't talk about is handling pressure and stress. Because you're going to like have to deal with difficult stakeholders, and I know that that word probably sounds cliche, and difficult doesn't necessarily mean they're fighting you.
Yeah.
Like difficult comes in different forms. It's just, sometimes you're in the room and people don't agree with what you're saying, or people have a different view. But your ability to handle those situations is also very critical, and I'm highlighting this so you can start to pen out some of these things that you think you need to enhance or modify, which we'll talk about how you can improve that in the course of this video. But very, very important, just to wrap up the different types of soft skills: emotional intelligence. This one is really, really important, because emotional intelligence means you have the ability to give people some benefit of doubt.
Yep.
You have the ability to not just see things in one side. There's no way I'm wrong. You're not just looking at things from one perspective. You're also trying to think about the other person's thought process and not just thinking you. Your ability to be kind to your work colleagues, whether they're nice to you or not, be kind to them. Whether someone extends, you're not there to make friends. But in the context of an interview, and your ability to show emotional intelligence as well, they need to be able to say that.
Yeah.
So, very, very important. Okay, please keep this in mind. We're going to move straight into some of the things, some of the things that you can do in an interview that can instantly make a recruiter think, nah, this person has got little to no soft skills, thereby we cannot hire them. AKA things that you will do in an interview that will make them cross you out.
Yep.
Now, do you want to start on one of the
Yeah,
things?
absolutely.
Yeah.
The first thing we see, in my experience, as you could working with a lot of people, so you give very monosyllabic responses. So they ask you a question, you either say, oh yes, no, or you're like, well, you give them very half-baked answers that, as I said earlier, they need to prompt you to tell us a bit more.
Yeah.
That is a danger zone. Like, you're not going to get far in that process.
No.
And we've seen a lot of people who do that. They will literally say, maybe the interview was supposed to go for 30 minutes. They end it like
10 minutes.
We can't waste our time, because time is precious.
It is.
And when you waste people's time, you've wasted their life.
Yeah.
So we will say, like, of course, it comes from preparation as well. I already gave one out, preparation, right? When you prepare, make sure you prepare a robust answer, but more importantly, relax and just share a bit more. Use framework like STAR method, popular, which is situation, the task, the action, and the result.
Correct.
That gives you a bit of framework, and people underutilize that to be able to then say, okay, I'm nervous, all these things are going on in my head, I'm overthinking, but I'm just gonna leverage this framework.
Okay.
Any question they ask me, I'm gonna go into telling them about a situation. You can make it up, right? The task, action, result. Yeah, I gave a tip there on.
Yeah. So in relation to some of the things that we can do, which I think you brilliantly said, monosyllabic responses, and that's so uninspiring. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
I guess another thing that would instantly make them see you as someone who is not confident is also your body language. It says a lot. Yeah. So some people are in interviews and they're looking at everywhere except the people that they're talking to.
Yeah.
It's like pacing, and there's people like pacing in the interview and like doing like this. That is uncomfortable. Even as
biting
and like looking everywhere.
Or you put pen in your mouth and you're chewing on that.
Just like that.
Yeah, that's
so
really
it's
bad.
giving off, yeah, I don't think this person has interest.
Yeah.
Another thing that I would say people go to interviews, lack of passion. And it's not necessarily that they lack it, they're just not showing it.
Yeah.
Oh, tell us about your experience. Been a business analyst now for 5 years and zero energy.
Yeah, and I think that's where, again, cultural thing, I suffer from that. Like a couple of interviews initially,
very
like
robotic.
when I'm and of course I know my stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I had to learn stress of words. But you can say hello, and you can say hello.
Hi everyone. Hello everyone.
How are you doing today?
The
Tired.
energy, yeah.
There's a difference, right?
There is.
One projects confidence, another one like when you're like this, whether because of nerves or whatnot, it is just very like it's not inspiring.
Underwhelming.
Yeah, and they'll just see you as, oh, this person lacks
this
soft
person
skills.
don't got it. This person don't have it. And it's literally how you behave during that interview sets you apart. The truth is, recruiters have this impression that when you come into an interview, you're meant to give your best self.
Yeah.
So the version of yourself that you give to them, they would interpret it as your best self.
Absolutely.
Now, if quote and unquote your best self is zero, what you're telling them is, when you get the job, I've got nothing to offer you. Because let's be honest, it's an interview and it's like half an hour you're being judged. The expectation is Tayo brings her best self. So whatever it is that I'm presenting to them, they are interpreting it as my best self. So it's extremely important that you go to interviews with your A game. Look, when I'm talking to recruiters, I was just telling one of our students just before we started this call, I said to him, I need you to call 5 recruiters in this new week. And when you speak to them, you need to sprinkle a bit of cockiness, for lack of a better word. And I said that because you need to show confidence. I need you to say something like, look, I'm speaking to you from a place of experience. I read through your position description. Here's the things that I've done. Here's what qualifies me better than another person for this job. Smiling, but still maintaining your ground. Look, I've done this in interviews and I say to them, here's what I'm going to offer. And this is what I bring to the table if I'm successful for this role. That's different from you going to an interview as though you're begging them for the job.
Yeah.
If you don't see yourself as an asset to them, and you see it rather as they are doing you a favor, then that's what they see you as.
All right.
If you don't present in an interview like, look, I'm the best person for this job in the way that I speak to them, my voice is I'm obviously not yelling, but smiling, Another thing from our background is we are so like serious. When we hear interview, it's like seriousness. Yeah. We forget to have fun. And when you forget to have fun, to people, you are not showing a lot of those interpersonal skills. And that's what we're talking about today. Yeah. Because to your point earlier on, Noah, nerves can kick in, and I completely understand that. Yeah. And we'll give you some tips on how you can manage and develop some of the skills where you think you are a little bit low in the ranking. But yes, Very, very important that you don't do these things when you attend an interview, because they would instantly give off the vibe of someone who has got limited or no soft skills.
Correct. So turning page to how then can you build your soft skills? And just sharing, I interviewed a couple of Nigerians for a role. Yeah. And then I asked them, do you have any questions? And not one. I think it was like the fourth person that had the question, like the content writer, but interviewed like three other people, and they actually did not have any question. They're like, yeah, you answered everything. I'm like, there's no like you don't. It shows lack
There's
of
no such thing.
like it just shows lack of interest in the role,
Correct.
even if that's not true.
Yeah.
Lack of preparation, all of those things combined. So try to ask questions, right? Have prepared questions, where it also shows that yeah, you can engage, you can interact, you're passionate about the role, which is also very important. Passion.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing that you can do, because again, if in your case it's really communication skills, as an example, because we like to be very practical here. If you think, okay, with my communication skills, maybe when I'm talking, I tend to forget the next word or the next thing to say. Or maybe when you're talking, you just can't be very coherent or precise. Practice, practice, practice. Grab your phone, record yourself. Maybe even if it's just you talking about yourself or your experience in Australia or your experience overseas. Start with things that you know and start to develop those skills. Record yourself, speak, hello, today I'm going to talk about my day. And today I've done this, I've done that. I went to the grocery shopping, I went for grocery shopping, I've done this, I've done that. So you start to practice. Another practical step that you can do if you think that you have very limited, because sometimes people who tend to believe that they've got very limited communication skills also comes from the bank of knowledge that they have, vocabulary, limited vocabulary. So you tend to struggle with like finding the right word. You can really solve this problem through a lot of reading. Look, I read a lot of books, we read a lot of books. Reading is always very helpful. The moment you stop learning, you die. Absolutely. So you can start to read books, right? You can start to listen to effective communicators, try to watch some podcast videos as well. Watch this video of ours. I'm sure you would have picked some vocabs, even in this video as well. So, but on a more serious note, if you think communication is yours, please read, record yourself, practice, practice, practice. You cannot say you've got limited communication skills and just sit back and continue to say it. When you practice, you can build. And another tip that has helped as well that I've seen from my experience is when you feel like you're not a coherent speaker, meaning you beat around the bush and you say everything roundabout, then you eventually say what you were meant to say at the last place. Try and bullet point. If you're in a session and you think, oh, maybe someone's going to ask me something, try and pen down 3 important things. I use this framework when I'm talking to people because I tend to talk a lot sometimes. And sometimes I'm like, okay, I really want to be very specific. I said this thing to help me. I said, look, I'm going to talk about the 3 most important things based on our conversation. If I want to give an update. So 3 things. So it helps people to also listen to you in a structured way. So I said, look, the first thing is XYZ. The second one is XYZ. And the third thing is XYZ. Oh, and something just jumped to my mind actually. And I handle like that. So that structure can also help you if you feel like you're not a coherent speaker. Yeah. I know how very people may come for me. But go and take IELTS. So, but IELTS is such a good exam because I think that I'm part of the people that are like, we speak English all our lives while we getting tested, for visa. But I think that, looking back, I think IELTS actually helps you build a lot of skills in communication. So think about the listening part. It helps you practice active listening. Because you're listening for keyword. So that skill helps you when you're engaging with people to concentrate and take notes and be on the details, right? Reading, of course, reading, right? That's not listening.
some people don't know how to
actively to
right?
listen to
Listen, they
things.
just their mind wanders around. Speaking, of course, you need to speak to engage people. So that component of that exam is very, it serves a purpose. Helps you build some skills that is very. You don't need to do it for visa or whatever. You do it like I just want to build my skills. And you said, listen to public speakers, how they structure their presentation, their words. I'm not a perfect, and these are some of the things we do as well,
We learn.
right?
Yeah.
We do this. It's also like a practice for us,
Correct.
right? In previous videos, you hear M's and M, but I'm noticing, okay, I think they are reducing all the hesitation, the flops, and all those things. You know, the more you do it, the better you become.
Correct.
So practice is very important as well.
Absolutely. And you know, there's something that we like to say. There is perfection in repetition. Anything you want to develop, you need to do it persistently, consistently, and deliberately. And the last thing in relation to how you can develop this is actually identifying which ones you are lacking in or which ones you just want to improve.
Yep.
Once you identify it, for you, it could be active listening, it could be communication skills, it could be emotional intelligence, it could be empathy, it could be ability to empathize with others, it could be your inability to take feedback.
Yeah.
So you need to identify which ones you're requiring, you need to top up, modifier, etc. And then that would help you to take practical steps. You can watch YouTube videos, you can speak to your friends, you can speak to colleagues, you can read. There's lots of things, that you can do in that regard.
Great.
Absolutely. Yes.
And if you're looking to build your skills, maybe you're thinking about exploring a career in tech. And again, as we said earlier, so many people don't get opportunities because of how they've been interviewed. Your performance at the interview is what will help you secure that job.
Yeah.
And showing yourself, like showing that soft skills, people skills, is a big part of that.
Correct.
If you want to be better at interviewing, we have a framework where we help our students actually learn how to become better interviewers so that they can increase their chance, to get a job. So check the description below for a link to sign up to our program. And by the way, Since Skills has helped a lot of people secure no-code tech roles in Australia, UK, Canada, US. I'm mentioning all these countries because I've been here. It's only Australia that we support. We support anywhere. So immigrants. And thank you so much. If you're getting value from our videos, why are you not subscribing?
Why haven't you hit the subscribe button yet? Please hit the subscribe button, like our videos, and share with someone. This could be a changing factor for someone out there who has been struggling to secure a job or someone who has been struggling to keep themselves in their job.
Amazing. Thank you, Tayo.
Thank you, Noah.
See you next one.